I'm the Director for High Performance Computing for New York State. New York State has two major facilities in Stony Brook University at RPI. They're the world-class facilities for supercomputing. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how NYSTAR invests in research at universities for a public-private partnership. What is NYSTAR? I'm going to go through this quick. We get about $50 million a year from the state of New York. We fund all these types of centers across the state. And mostly it's a public-private academic partnership model that we try to facilitate. The most successful partnerships typically are where the public, academic, and private interleave in the middle. We have found some great success stories in this type of model, and we're going to continue this model moving forward. These are where our centers are located throughout the state. As you can see, every region has a dot on it, except for areas of extremely less dense population. One note here is most of the time we set up our centers around institutions that offer PhDs because we want to facilitate the federal research dollars to also offset some of that cost. But we do a research on a whole breadth of services, including service-related sciences, as well as industrial and product development. So these are the typical science areas that we focus on. We focus on, obviously, ceramics, which is huge in the semiconductor, as well as in the capacitor issues, or energy storage issues. And you could read through these all and get a good glimpse of kind of what the research we are. And of course, my contact information is going to be available to everybody. So if there's something that I'm not hitting and you want to talk to me about, please feel free to contact me. The return on investment, this is a taxpayer-funded enterprise, and obviously all of you are taxpayers. And one thing I can say is that we are a success story for New York. You don't hear a lot of good success stories, a lot of bad press is out there, but the fact is we get a $41 to $1 investment return on every dollar that we spend. So it's a 40 to 1 return, which is a very good story for us. And this is over a 10-year period. So it's not just a 1 year kind of playing with the numbers. This is a pretty good average, and most of the years it's higher than this. So the success stories that we have, these are small. I try to pull out small businesses because obviously, the IBMs of the world and GEs of the world have a different scale, and they're able to be success just by their sheer volume. But these are small companies in New York that have partnered within this model and have done extremely well in innovating their product line as well as innovating their business models and changing for the newer economy in a global economy. Most people are now adopting the idea of outsourcing their innovation because they don't have the resources in-house to keep high-level PhDs or researchers on staff. So they put challenges, grand challenges out there in an open innovation model, and typically researchers at universities will respond. So there was a couple challenges at Nanodynamics in Buffalo where they had to design a nano-sized copper pellets for some application. They didn't have a clue how to do this, so they put the grand challenge out there. Clarkson University from the North Country responded. They actually solved the problem for them, which resulted in a venture capital round of them raising $16 million once this product was developed. So the company scaled up dramatically from being essentially a lifestyle company of making a few $100,000 a year to now having $16 million in their coffers over this one little problem. Enomendix is the same type of issue. They're a pharmaceutical early startup at Stony Brook, of course. Now they are a whole different scale, trying to license their product with Pfizer and Merck and those types of things. And Whetstone Technologies at Cortland, another very small digital security technology. They created 44 new jobs and have now revenues over $10 million and are now able to compete at a federal level as well as major Fortune 50 companies for their products because of their open innovation that they did with the universities and partnering with New York State. So the next 20 years, where are we? And this is what scares me about a lot of industry and businesses is they tend to be in a very stagnant, stale model, and they don't see the future. They don't typically they have so much time filling out paperwork, paying their payroll, dealing with human resources, and just having leather on the ground trying to sell their product, that they don't have time to actually think about the next 20 years. Where large companies like an IBM or a Google can have people sitting on the bench thinking about the global impact of certain things and where industries are moving. And my fear is that the small businesses, being the engine of the economy for New York, typically are underrepresented and are overworked and don't have time to really think about the global issues or whether or not their product that they're selling or the service they're offering is going to be available for free in a year because Google's coming out with a new product or whatever. So we're trying to help with this problem, and one of the issues was providing a very comprehensive cyber infrastructure available to businesses in a partnership model to New York. And the idea is, if you have an idea for a product development, you don't have the internal resources to deal with it, you send that grand challenge out, hopefully somebody responds, and then you can partner with that. So the idea is to get around into simulation-based engineering science, and this is for product development, but this also is for information sciences. This is where you fuse knowledge techniques, and we're typically and traditionally you had silos of expertise. Now we're going to be fusing expertise across a wide breadth of resources. You're going to have physicists work with medical biologists. You're going to have infotech people working with psychologists and anthropologists trying to figure out complicated algorithms on human behavior for insurance calculations or financial market analysis or whatever. And the same thing with traditional manufacturing. You're going to have people who are economists working with lean manufacturers, working with material scientists, trying to lean products out, make them better, more efficient, and easier to create. So the idea is, this is going to be the paradigm of the workforce of tomorrow, where you have 21st century skills and project sets, working with mathematicians, working with computers, and working with a specific science domain, all converging onto one type of a workforce. Companies who deploy this are actually going to be the ones that are going to be leading the next revolution in our economy. Those who don't are probably going to be bought up or no longer exist. So what you're going to have is bio companies, nano companies, and info-based companies all following the SBES model. And if they don't, I could tell you right now, the future does not look good for them, because stagnant economies, stagnant business models are not going to be doing well in the next 20 years. So how does the high-performance computing fit into all this? Obviously, a lot of this type of research deals with massive calculations if you want to simulate a product in real time. So we provide these $40 million supercomputing, it's actually $80 million in supercomputing services, essentially free to charge at businesses up to a certain point, and then we would expect a partnership model to be available. We also provide computational scientists to partner with those businesses, so if they have an idea, we can bring them to a certain point so they can simulate. And obviously, if there is an issue of a proprietary product, we would expect a partnership model to form. But we want innovative small companies to kick the tires of this thing and see exactly how far we can bring their business over the next few years. The goals of this program is to provide assistance to businesses and researchers across New York to build off our substantial cyber infrastructure. And it's just not computers that we're talking. We have weathering devices. We have computational scientists that are specialists in psychology. We have just about every human component as well as instrumentation component available at use for the businesses that want to partner with us. So if you don't have to go out and buy a $10 million piece of equipment. We will lease or give it to you for free of charge for a short period of time. This is kind of the models in which we're moving forward. This is the membership that we have right now, the types of sciences that they're going to focus on. This is the knowledge repository that we're going to be creating that's going to be housing a lot of these knowledge type applications from these areas so they can be reused by other businesses and other institutions. And this is the illustrative example of where we are at right now within a year in the program. We have Fortune 50 companies, biotech companies, manufacturers from upstate. Actually, this is an interesting, small 100-year-old company, who all of you know is Gould Pumps. They actually make swimming pool pumps. So if you have a swimming pool, you're using their pump. You probably don't know it, but the internal components are Gould Pumps or ITT. China dumped a bunch of pumps, industrial pumps, onto the market, collapsed the market on them, where the price performance became a real issue. So the only way for them to say sustaining in the market, because they were getting creamed on price, was to do an energy savings model, which would save, I know this, 20% of all energy consumed for industry is industrial pumps. So they wanted to reduce the energy consumption needs by half, which would then put them into the pricing situation with the Chinese company. They're using our supercomputer. They're within about 6 weeks of a prototype, and they will probably own the market again because they're going to be offering a better pump that's more energy efficient, and they never would have gotten to that result without using our supercomputing resources. We've funded about $500 million over the last 10 years. We would love to work with you. My contact information is available, so if you have an interest in working with us, I'll be happy to talk to you. And as I said, in order for you to innovate, it's too expensive to do it alone, so use the resources that the taxpayers have already paid for. We'd love to partner with you. We'd love to innovate your company. We'd love to help you become profitable over the next 20 years and expand beyond what you are right now. So thank you.